Our First Looks coverage is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Get your next laptop, tablet, Xbox, and more by going to firstlooks.tv/Microsoft.
And actually, we have a familiar shirt sitting next to us.
Indeed,
this
we
is
do.
Team W.I.L.D, but this is someone a little bit different. Can you please introduce yourself for us?
Hi, my name is Hannah Spivey, and I am acting as the youth mentor of Team W.I.L.D.
So you're a mentor, and
Yes.
you're also an alumni?
Yes, I am an alumni. I competed when I was in middle school with Marshall Middle School on Team Fire.
Okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about being on the team before and now mentoring the team?
It's definitely a different experience. You know, the competition itself hasn't changed that much as far as just what the basic challenges are and what is the basic expectation of the competitors. But every year it's nice to see a different board, different ideas as far as the project goes. It's very interesting to go from being very much in the middle of the action and having to stress about making personally stress that your actions are out there going, whereas now I have a group of boys that I have to stress that their actions are going to go well, which is definitely it's still a little stressful, but it's a different kind of stress. And they're both good as long as they're not carried away, which, you know, I tried never to let that happen. I don't let it happen here. So now I go from the one who was encouraged to the encouraging one, which is really nice to do.
That's awesome. And when were you on this team?
Team Fire? Yeah, I was on it from 6th through 8th grade. So it would have been from, I believe, around 2011 to around actually competing 2013-14. But then I stayed on and continued to mentor the year after I went into high school with them. But their team kind of has not competed recently, so I haven't been doing much with them since. But
Gotcha. But now you're involved with this team, and you're bringing all the stuff you learned as a team member in the past to some new students.
Yes, absolutely.
As a mentor and an alumni.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
It's cool. It's definitely fun. I missed being back here, and it was a couple years there, and it's so nice to be back and see all what's going on still.
So why would you say that you volunteer?
I volunteer because, you know, first in this competition meant a lot to me. When I was in middle school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no idea, like, as far as career-wise or as far as just even extracurricular activities. I just kind of did everything. And then I got an invitation as a 6th grader. They normally only let 7th and 8th graders, but they wanted a couple of 6th graders to kind of build up and mentor for 7th and 8th grade year to apply for the robotics team. So I did, and it set me on, this competition is kind of what set me on the track to deciding I wanted to pursue higher education in engineering. It's why I switched from my zoned high school, and now I go to school in a different county than what I live in, just so that I can go to an engineering academy.
Where do you go to school?
Yes, I go to school at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy.
Ooh, that's awesome.
It's very interesting. And I can think it all back to this. Like, this is what encouraged me and inspired me to continue on that track.
So you would say that would be your inspiration for volunteering?
Yeah, so I want to be able to help kids who maybe they don't always know, or maybe they have that interest, and I want to show them just the type of opportunities that this competition can offer them.
That's awesome.
Danielle has a very similar story. She didn't know what she wanted to do before she joined FIRST, and now she's, after being afraid of software,
I was terrified.
at least once, she's now a software engineer with a focus on cybersecurity. So not even just software, but heavy math too.
I'm studying at Florida Polytechnic University in Lakeland.
Yes, I know where that is.
Yeah, so that's where I go. I'm a junior currently. So, what year are you?
I'm a senior in high school.
Okay.
That's awesome. Yes.
So in your time volunteering, either with the team or if you volunteered at events, what's probably your favorite thing, your favorite moment from volunteering?
My favorite thing, I was always a bit more of like the robot technical person on the team. So my personal favorite is when I see the boys finally get that mission that's been giving them trouble, and just seeing, because they've been so disappointed about something because they just can't get it to work, and seeing that moment where a kid's face just lights up because it finally works and they finally got it, and all that hard work and effort pays off for them. That's really a nice moment. That just happened for us on our last run. They got the perfect run that they had been looking for all season. So they were all so happy, and that's just great to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's great to see that, like, when the suggestions and the answers to questions all comes together, like when they are cheering, they're so excited.
Yeah, that's makes it all worth it.
And have you personally been to this competition before?
This competition, I have been to other FLL events. This specific one, I don't believe I have.
Okay.
This is your first time here at this competition?
Yes, at this competition it is. I went to, things were structured a little bit differently when I did it. There was a bit of a restructuring. So as far as going through the competition, the levels under this newer structure, this is the first year I've gone through this.
Fair enough.
Okay. And how do you like it?
I love it. I think it really judges the kids based off their merit because, some contests that you do, it's kind of more luck-based, whereas this one I really feel it forces the kids to be well-rounded, and it forces them to consider all aspects of the engineering design process and the teamwork.
Which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So it's a really good way to get them very exposed to multiple types of ideas and multiple types of experiences rather than just, this is a robot competition, focus on your robot table. But no, it really encourages them to broaden their horizons a bit, which I really enjoy about it.
Because like FIRST says, it's more than robots.
It is more than robots, yes.
It's a research project, and it's learning all about the human water cycle and things that water and robots generally don't mix. And so FIRST figured out, FIRST Tech Challenge has wanted a water competition for years. That's not going to happen, but at least they did figure out how to
implement it here.
How to implement water into the game, and in a really fascinating way.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. There are a lot of ways that I think that people don't always realize that technology has a place in. So I think something like this is also teaching them in a real world sense that technology and robotics reaches further than maybe previously thought or expected.
So being a mentor, how do you think you prepared these students to get to this point today?
It's a lot of just trying to prepare them for any possible situation, really. Like you tell them, okay, if it goes good, that's great, we're set. And if it doesn't go good, that's going to be okay because there are other parts of the competition, there are other parts to think of. I tend to mentor a bit more on the programming build side just because I specialized in that a bit more when I was a competitor.
Fair enough.
But I definitely do just try to be a very encouraging figure where if they're frustrated with something or if they're not getting it, I just try to either give them a tip. I don't give them the answer. I just try to say, maybe here's a new type of idea you can try, or have you thought about this instead of that?
Try exploring this.
Try to explore. I want them to get to the conclusion on their own. So sometimes that's hard. Sometimes
but you're giving them the tools to get there.
Yes, I want to give them tools to get there.
It can be very difficult. I have mentored a couple of teams, including a FIRST Tech Challenge team, and it's sometimes very difficult to not say, well, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, it can be.
This is better, do it.
Have you thought about exploring this kind of sensor?
Yeah.
Not go put this sensor on the front of the thing and you'll be good to go. Have you thought about using an infrared sensor?
Yeah, or sometimes it's like, hey, there are these black lines on the board. Do you think that there's a way you can incorporate that into the programming or something like that? Just trying to be like, you don't want to say, hey, use the color sensor to sense the black line and use it, but
follow the black line to the color sensor.
Yes. So definitely hard to balance as far as wanting to still be involved, but you have to realize that it's their competition. They're the ones learning. You're not helping them by just telling them what the answer is.
That's awesome.
But pointing them
in the right direction, yes, that's fine.
So that they can follow it themselves to an answer is the thing. Yeah.
And that definitely prepared them for today, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's how I just try to do it. I just try to see, sometimes I have to cooperate with them because I don't always know what the best solution is, so we have to just talk together as what we all think. They've had ideas that I never thought of, and I've had suggestions that they never thought of. So it's a very give and take type relationship. You have to respect each other and mutually arrive at a consensus of everybody and what everyone feels comfortable with.
Sure. I can say, having had interns work for me, that the thing that's interesting about working with inexperienced is that they don't know what things are bad ideas yet.
Yeah.
And so they come up with ideas that you may have already ruled out as a possibility because it's a bad idea. But it was a bad idea a long time ago. Technology's changed since then. Maybe today it's not a bad idea, but it's so ingrained in your head that it's a bad idea. They
Don't
come
even
up with
go down that path.
Yeah, that your brain can't even go that way. And when they pitch it, your first thought is, get out of here.
No.
But it turns out it's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely.
She's done that to me at least once.
Yeah, that's definitely, that used to happen with me and my coaches because I was in the team right around the time that EV3s and color sensors were starting to become a thing. And so we had some sort of competition. It wasn't FLL, but it was something else. And they, we had to, one of the options to complete the thing was to sense a line. And we had always had problems in the past with the light sensor just because of sensitivity and light settings, all that. So she was kind of maybe not the most encouraging of using a light sensor and doing another thing. But I was like, but no, there's this color sensor thing. It kind of works like a light sensor, but it's different. So maybe we could try it and see how it works. And it ended up working fine just because, you know, she kind of had the perception that maybe it wasn't the best, but we could still try it. But it ended up working much better.
Yeah,
based on
really
being
cool.
jaded about previous experiences and knowing that it didn't work.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah, I definitely have I have my own hesitations about certain things, but then I've seen the boys actually make it work, and I'm like, okay, great.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what kind of challenges have you faced personally throughout this process of being a mentor?
One